First couple of things the four of us love from yesterday. Brandon, you loved Kemba's dime.
Ooh, he got game. Man, I woke up everyone in the house after this play. You know, when you get into those clutch moments, you look at what players are going to step up, and I saw Kemba take control, and then he had this pass, and I said, wow, this is going to live on this highlight reel forever. We're going to continue to talk about this defining moment. But then this guy, OG, hit this shot in the corner. This is a guy who's known for his defense, and I'm like, man, if I'm Kemba, I'm like, why? This was an amazing moment.
Forgotten forever.
Taken away by this guy.
Nick, you loved OG.
Listen, it's
ahead,
a great
Nick.
shot. It's poor defense. It's a perfect pass. But there's more ripple effects than just keeping the series alive. I think you're going to coaching clinics. And by the way, shout out Hubie Brown, who drew up this play evidently in a coaching clinic years ago. I think they're going to say if with 0.5 left, even if you have a 7'5" guy guarding the inbounds pass, he can't affect the pass. Then why would we ever have a guy guard the inbounds pass with less than a second left in a game? I think you'd be better off using another defender to double the paint, and then you're not having to worry about someone coming open. I think the inbounds pass defender's dead forever, Wilds.
Kevin Wilds, go ahead. Runs in the family.
Hey, congratulations to the Gore family. Frank Gore Jr. made his debut yesterday for Southern Miss. So congratulations to Frank Gore Sr. Also, in other fatherhood news, my children ate 2 pieces of toast this morning for breakfast, so it's a big day for all of us, fathers around the country.
All right, no idea, but finally, I love this cute little doink pass from Jordan Love that went viral. Why did it go viral? Exactly. Why did a backup quarterback who just threw a random pass in camp make headlines? That's my point. All Jordan Love ever wanted to do was get drafted, play football in the NFL, and he got wedged between the Green Bay Packers, the great Green Bay Packers, and the great Aaron Rodgers. He didn't want that. All he wanted to do was play football. I say you do you, Jordan Love. You ricochet that ball off anything you want to throw it at, and if it goes in, fantastic, and you leave the drama to the Green Bay Packers. It's my 2 cents. All right, let's move on. Talk a little basketball now. Preview game 1 between the Rockets and the Lakers. That game set for tonight. Lakers well rested after closing out the Blazers on Saturday. Rockets, I would say exactly the opposite after grinding hard for 7 tough games to beat the Thunder Tuesday night. We welcome back in Broussard. Broussard doesn't want to hear anything about players being gassed or tired because you've been in the bubble for such a short period of time. But Broussard, what do you think the Rockets have to do to re-engage here and pull off the upset in this series?
Well, Jenna, obviously small ball has to win out over size. They have to impose their will on the Lakers and make it a small game. Now, that's tough to do because nobody in the league is better at controlling tempo than LeBron James. But the Rockets can try to change that by putting pressure on LeBron. We saw he turned it over 5 times a game in the first round. And so if they can pressure him and they're great at scoring off of turnovers, that could really work in their favor and turn the tide toward them. Obviously, James Harden has to be James Harden all 7 games. If they push the Lakers to 6 or 7, he can't get tight, can't disappear, can't struggle. Whatever's happened in many of these closeout games to Harden absolutely cannot happen. And Westbrook has to be in attack mode to keep the Lakers off balance. If Westbrook and Harden can get to the line, which they do as well as any guards in the league, then that is huge. Get the Lakers in foul trouble. And then I'm going to say P.J. Tucker needs to get in Anthony Davis's head if P.J. is going to be on him at any time. Get physical with him, talk to him, try to take him out of his game because there's never been more pressure on Anthony Davis. Okay, now he's playing with LeBron. It's championship or bust. He's gotten a pass the previous 6, 7 years. Now he's got to win a title. And so if I'm PJ, I'm trying to get in his head and put that pressure on him.
So here's one of the issues for the Rockets is I was at the Rockets-Lakers game in Houston before the shutdown, and the Lakers ended up pulling away, but they pulled away because P.J. Tucker went out of the game with an injury. P.J. Tucker was guarding in that game LeBron, and he actually was doing a pretty damn good job of it. P.J. Tucker is the #1 option to defend 2 guys. And that's a big problem. He's the guy you'd want guarding Anthony Davis, even though he's undersized, and he's the only guy who has any shot against LeBron. So it's going to kind of be pick your poison. But I believe this is going to be the toughest series of the postseason for the Lakers because the Rockets play such a unique style, and because while the Lakers' three-point shooting has improved over the last 4 games, it's gone from abysmal to actually pretty good when they won the last 4 against Portland. They're not a great three-point shooting team. And it is almost impossible to win NBA games if you've got, if you're minus 10 made threes versus your opponent. And I think that's going to happen a number of times in this series. I think there's going to be a number of games where the Rockets make 21 threes and the Lakers scratch out 9 or 10, which is actually a decent night for them. And that's enough for the Rockets to win. The reason why, Brandon, I don't think the Rockets can actually win the series is their only chance of winning the series is a long series. And if you're in a game 7 when Harden and Russ have struggled historically in those spots, and LeBron, by any available metric, is the greatest game 7 performer in NBA history, you're in really, really rough shape. So I think this is going to be a long series. I think this is going to be a hard series. But I don't think the Rockets can win a game 7 against LeBron James. So I've got the Lakers in 7. But I don't think this is going to be anything close to what we saw, Brandon, in round 1 from the Lakers over the Blazers.
You got to excuse me here, Nick. I'm smiling because the new resident NFL expert is actually being validated by Chris, the NBA expert on this show. Yesterday, I stood on the table and talked about how the Rockets need to embrace small ball. Like, this is their only way of winning. This is their only shot. And now you open up this take with validating me. Well, you actually said that is the way.
No, that's the only way they have to play. I was talking about going forward into the future. If they, if they had lost that series to in the first round of OKC, they would have had to really rethink the small ball. That's what I was talking about. But you're right. They're playing small, and that's what they're going to have to do against the Lakers.
It's okay to validate. It's okay. It's okay to validate the resident NFL expert. It's okay. It's okay. But this is the only chance they have. James Harden will determine the outcome of this series. James Harden, he has to step up on the offensive side, and that's wild that we're having this conversation because this is the guy that literally dominated the basketball for the last 4 years, and compared to anyone else, no one has been able to do what this guy has been able to do with the ball in his hands. Now, this year, he stepped up on the defensive side. He's actually played really well. He's engaged. He's embracing the moment. But that's not what you want out of James Harden. What we need to see out of James Harden, if they want to be in a Game 7, if they want to possibly advance, James Harden needs to drop 40 to 50 points. If I'm in that locker where I'm telling him, don't worry about us. We will find our spots. We will find our moments in the game. We need you to go be the Beard.
Okay, so here's what I think. We talk about this a lot on the show when Broussard is the old veteran and Nick is the young new school person. This is very new school versus old school. If you're like new school, you love threes, you hate rebounds, and you've never been in a blockbuster video, you like the Rockets. If you're like old school, if you like points in the paint, you hate isolations, and you ever owned a yellow Sony Walkman, you like the Lakers. And here's why. It comes down to if you love the threes or if you love the two. Rockets score half of their points off threes. The Lakers score only 30%. The Lakers score 52% of their points off twos. The Rockets are like, twos? Why would we shoot twos when we shoot threes? It doesn't make any sense. They only shoot 38. I know everyone's like, hey, Wilds, we know the Rockets love three. No, they're crazy in love, Beyonce in love with with the three-pointers. They set records in the last round. Guess what they're going to do now, Broussard? 63s this series. I think they just take it. I just think they just go crazy, shoot 63s or more to try to freak the Lakers out.
Right. That's right.
That's right.
Small ball.
All right, here's my takeaway. All right, we'll take a break. Adrian Peterson was released this morning. What's next for him? Next, first things first.
Let's roll. I'm not impressed. Let's move. I'm out for like a